Hello, and thank you for joining us again for another episode of Seeking Gravity. We all three went down to the Mosconi Cup. I think I can speak for all of us that it was an amazing experience. And Rob?
I definitely.
You're kind of looking at me like I was lying.
No. Just in total agreement. It's the permanent every 2-year plan now.
Yeah, so one of the first things, within the first hour of being at the event, one of the very first things in my brain, for some reason, being a producer, is going, oh my God, we got to do a show about this. Everyone has to experience it. It's almost like a sense of urgency. I need to tell all the pool players out there, they need to come to this. And I wanted to kind of spend some time where we could chat about what that experience was like, kind of just give people the sense of what they can expect, what you guys enjoyed, what you learned from that. What gave you guys the initial inclination to want to attend the Mosconi Cup?
Well, I know for me personally, I've watched it previous years online, and I knew that since it's in Vegas, it was very accessible to get there. I'm not totally sure how accessible it is for a lot of people, but it was accessible for me. And I knew that I wanted to see it in person because there was a lot of things that I felt like I was missing behind the scenes that I really wanted to see, and I wanted to get like that sort of experience being at a real, like crazy big tournament like that. I'd never been in a big tournament like that to even watch something like that in person.
Great. For me, there had been several years in the past that I'd been wanting to go, and then the COVID thing skipped a couple opportunities to go. And then knowing that there was a strong possibility Earl Strickland was going to be playing really made it a priority for me to do it that year, because I knew that's probably not going to ever happen again. And even at the time, I didn't know if it was going to happen, but I felt like it would, being said he missed out the year before when he was supposed to be on the team. So, Earl had a big stride in me actually making it happen that year.
I wonder how many people that did bring out, just to see Earl, and probably knowing, as much as we all love Earl, for so many different reasons, that it probably wasn't going to happen again after this year. Hopefully it does, but who knows?
I hope so.
But yeah, I've been watching the Mosconi on TV for as long as I can remember. And, I've even gone back and watched all like the early 90s stuff too. When did it start? There's a trivia question. I think we're 24, 25 years.
I forget exactly, but it's somewhere near there.
We should have Googled that before we recorded this.
What's interesting is you go look at those old ones and you see a lot of the European team is made up of snooker players. They're not even pool players.
Yeah.
And they can shoot the lights out for sure, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the cue ball control they have issues with. But I guess I kind of got ahead of myself. I hope you guys enjoy the set that we literally built here. We've got an American flag because we are Americans. We kind of had to build like the third grade classroom version of the European flag. I hope you guys appreciate it though, so it's kind of fun. How did attending the Mosconi Cup event in person differ from watching it on TV?
One of the biggest things that I missed was the commentating, being able to watch on TV versus live. The other thing is replays on shots or being able to really truly understand how the balls lie. Now, there were monitors around in the stadium, but they're pretty far away. It's pretty hard to see that. So I feel like it's pretty much just like any other sporting event. Like, I would prefer to watch a football game, honestly, on television than I would at a stadium. Yeah. You're paying way more attention to the event when you're watching it on a monitor, and really being there is the experience of being there. It's different. That said, I'd rather be there than watch it on TV now that I've been there. It's an amazing thing to be in person, and I can always go back and watch the recorded versions later.
Yeah, one of the things that really just took me back and continued to is because I've watched so many Mosconi Cup events on TV and never attended one in person. How loud it was in that place.
Yeah.
And I was like, they couldn't have all been this loud. Now, there was a lot of comments to the fact that this is probably the loudest, rowdiest Mosconi Cup ever in terms of the fans just being involved. Yeah. But, past years, there's still a lot of excitement, a lot of loudness, a lot of yelling and stuff like that. But I remember going back to my hotel room to watch like the highlight reel that night and how quiet we all sounded.
Yeah.
My Apple Watch was continuously telling me that I'm in a really dangerous hearing environment. We were regularly hitting 95 decibels for maintained periods of time. It was like, hey, you've been listening to 90 decibels for over 30 minutes now. I'm like, holy cow. And I actually held up in moments when I knew the crowd were going to go crazy, and we hit 116 on decibels on my watch.
Wow.
So it was kind of crazy. But that's one of the things I don't think that you could really ever tell people is how truly loud that place was, and for a maintained
Yeah.
duration.
The noise level there is like unmatched. When you watch it on like the computer, you can only hear the commentating. You know what I'm saying? And when you're there, you can't even hear the commentating. So yeah, it's everyone cheering, and it brings such a atmosphere that you really want to get pulled into it. You know what I'm saying? You really want to just cheer so loud for your team because it's super fun and it gets the sport going.
Yeah. From the first rack, I mean, that place was just exploding, and
So
it never stopped. It was insane. There was never a lull. It was just 100% all the time. So it was pretty amazing.
There was definitely talk that was one of the loudest years for US, but I feel like Europe is that loud every year. They've usually been way more obnoxious and way more into it and loud than us. Yeah. Do you think Earl had anything to do with the fact, or even the whole team seemed like they were always pumping each other up more than I remember seeing in past years.
Well, yeah, when Earl would make a shot or run out, the crowd was like explosive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even the same with SVB or Skylar, something like that. But when Earl, everyone was like going so crazy with Earl. And so I don't know if it was just because he was there finally. He wasn't able to be there 2 years ago, or last year. I think that really like brought in people.
I think at times it did.
Yeah. That was not only my first Mosconi Cup, but the first real big pro event I've ever been to, where you just walk around and there's the best pros in the world.
I mean, for me too. I'd walked into Pool Halls, Griff's, among others, and seen a pro playing, but actually, now that I think about it, I never went to an event to watch pros play.
Yeah, especially because you can get pictures with them. You can, talk to them. Mostly, they're walking around like normal people, just between their.
Very accessible.
Yeah.
And on top of those pros, you can just go by and give them a little fist bump and tell them, good luck on your next round. There was a lot of other just faces in the crowd too. Whether that's active players, retired players, YouTubers, all that stuff. I mean, if you're interested in pool and you're a name in pool, they're most likely going to be at this event, so it was pretty cool to see that. And we also got recognized. I don't know if anybody saw the Facebook post, but we got recognized by a fan in the crowd too, so that was pretty fun. They wanted a photo. Oh, speaking of the commentary, so the world of snooker, the attendees of the event, I don't know if you guys watch snooker or even paid attention, a lot of them always have this weird looking thing hanging off of one ear, and that's so they can actually hear. They get the commentators in their ear.
Oh, the people that go to snooker matches? Wow.
Yeah. They're essentially getting told that was an amazing shot or what they should be expecting and stuff like that. So it got me to thinking about that. Would that even be an option that people would want at the Mosconi Cup if you could have it? And I'm like, I don't think the Mosconi Cup's a venue where people would want that because it's just so insane already. Like I can't wait until they release all the matches like on YouTube so I can hear all the commentary of what I got to experience in real life. But
yeah, because I don't even know if I'd be able to hear because it was just so much yelling and cheering that I probably wouldn't even be able to hear it in my ear.
Any things that you guys want to share that would be considered more behind the scenes stuff that we're only able to experience in person?
I think I saw in between the matches and when they were racking, actually just in between the matches, they were doing like little games with the crowd, and I had never saw that before because they don't show that on the YouTube videos or anything like that. So that is something that you would have to be there because you could potentially win prizes. Someone won a Q-Tech, I think, pool cue, and some other things, and those were really cool, like audience engaging aspects that I liked.
Yeah, there were some trivia games. There was a push-up contest.
Yeah, a dance contest.
Yeah, there was a dance contest. Which had to get shut down real fast because they went to the middle finger really fast.
Yeah,
the Europe versus US person. We had amazing seats. We were row 4, 5?
5, I think. Four. Row 4. First 3 were VIP.
Well, we were 4 and 5, which were the first 2 rows available behind VIP seating.
Yeah, and the seats were great. I loved the seats.
Yeah, and then we were sitting just on Europe's side, right on the aisle that the European players would come in during their introduction. So we got the flybys quite often from the Europe players, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was really cool to see them in person that close. They're about to go play. It's just different experience. and viewing it on YouTube.
There's something about being at a live event, but then also when you're on the ground level. It just has a different feel from when you're up, like in the nosebleeds.
Yeah,
True
true
looking
that.
down on all of it.
Well, and let's be honest, anywhere in there, you felt it was pretty intimate. It's not like it's a huge venue.
Yeah.
You're pretty close to what's going on no matter where you're at.
I definitely think that if you are very sensitive to like sound and stuff and still want to enjoy that, I would recommend getting earplugs because it definitely gets loud and definitely cough drops for yelling.
You can't escape the noise. There's no like if you're in that bowl in that arena, it's you're cooked. Your ears are cooked.
Literally.
Your ears are cooked, your throat's cooked from yelling and screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, true that. And there's something I guess you don't even get to see on YouTube is when the players aren't playing, you're able to go up and say, hey, can I get the sign real quick? Or, you know what I'm saying? Even talk to them. So they are really accessible like that, which I don't think a lot of people know.
I think they enjoy it too because I think it's that one event a year. I'm sure they're at other big tournaments. People are asking for that stuff, but I think everyone's just. It's just such great energy. I think they appreciate the attention too.
Yeah.
I think it's just
think
good
so,
vibes.
Yeah, having not been to other pro tournaments, I can't say for sure, but I get the feeling that they're probably more approachable at Mosconi Cup than usual.
Yeah.
It's an exhibition. I mean, honestly, like it's not a real competition. You know, these races to 5 all chain break. It's bragging rights. I think it's more just fun for the fans than anything else. So I think that should be the pros' perspective when they go into it. This is really for the pool community.
Oh, well, you got smart fans too. So I think also us as pool fans, we know that it's okay to do that at Mosconi, where if we're at another tournament, we're not going to get in their headspace because they're in the zone, they're trying to do their thing. So
And even you can tell the players love it because like when they're about to shoot the 9-ball, they'll like get up, look at the crowd, hype them up, you know what I'm saying? So I think that definitely feeds into the energy too from the players.
I don't think I'd be walking up to Shane as he going in the final of the U.S. Open saying, hey, can I get an autograph?
Yeah,
like, you're just not going to do that, right? Or Mosconi, again, I think it's more for the audience than anything else than themselves. But, of course, they want to win. They get double the paycheck if they win. But, if you wanted to get some action potentially from a pro, you can go to Griff's in Vegas. That's the iconic pool hall, right? And so we walked in. If you want a pool table during the Mosconi Cup event in Vegas, like – the last ball was sinking and we were running to get out of the arena so we could get to Griff's and get an open table because they were done for the night after that. But we walk in and there's Peggy Lyon and John Mora playing. Like it's just a normal everyday thing.
Reinhold was there, so many pros like coming just to practice a little bit. I mean, not all the ones from the Mosconi, they're doing their own things, but definitely cool to see how many are in the same area at one time like that.
What was some of the takeaway that you guys got from this? Because another friend of ours who also went, I think, looked back at one time and was trying to give me crap about the fact I was so focused. And he's like, why aren't you cheering? Why aren't you yelling? And like, I was really absorbed with kind of taking in the pros' approach on just everything about it. This from the time they walk in to how they're viewing the table and how they're collecting themselves in such an insane environment. And that was a fun learning moment for me, is just kind of seeing just their approach to the game, especially in something chaotic like that. What did you guys take away from the event as a pool player?
I just took away enjoyment of watching the game I love to be played in a totally different way than you ever see it played. To see excitement around pool like that was just kind of cool. To be rowdy and cheering on like you were at a boxing match or a football match or something in its pool was just kind of a unique experience.
Yeah, I think I took away mostly of like how realistic pool can be for you if you involve yourself like so deeply into it, like you're saying, like so many other sporting events have like those events where everyone's cheering, and the Mosconi is a perfect example of like if you really put in the work, and the time and stuff like that. Some people played later in the game, some people played when they were kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to see how like even someone who played later got to be where they are now. So I think that it gave me like inspiration, like being there. I was like, this is such a cool, I would want this as my passion. I'd want this as something that I do every day because look how, how many people it can touch and the atmosphere that it gives gives everybody.
One of the signature sharking things or just rowdiness is the whole boring.
Yeah.
It's just a for fun thing. And we had fun with that when we went out that night to play too. I would say another takeaway, I guess, a little bit is when you granted we weren't playing, you still are in that atmosphere of headspace of just the intensity and the things that these players are having to deal with. So I think for me a little bit, it sounds weird saying it, but honestly, I think for me a little bit, even just going there and sitting and seeing these players have to take on the intensity of the crowd and just how, I mean, essentially sharking turned on to 1,000%, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which if you haven't seen our sharking episode, go check it out. It's pretty fun. Didn't hit Mosconi level, but I think for myself, that was just something, it exposed me to something that was so intense with that sharking that it was like, okay, I think I could deal with this a little bit more just having experience sitting in a room watching those players take that stuff on. You know what I'm saying?
You know what though? If you think back to our sharking episode, most of us weren't troubled too much when it was over the top obnoxious, right?
Yeah.
We were mostly troubled the most by the silence or everybody staring at you in quiet. And so, but that happens at Mosconi too, right? When everybody is just hush quiet. So for me, again, not being out there playing, I think those are the points that I would have had the most pressure is when that whole place goes dead quiet and I'm down on a shot.
Yeah. I think
That would be tough.
I think it really depends on kind of the player. I know some players like it better when it is so loud, you know what I'm saying? That way everyone's focused on everything else except for them, and some, but I know even like when Joshua Filler like laughed, you know, when someone said something, or like it like took him, you know. So I think I can't even imagine like the pressure to be feeling even playing like the last mat, you know, or something like that. Like the pressure, I can't even imagine that. Like as a player.
Yeah. In other words, I think it takes what we think is a big deal and turns the volume down a little bit, even in our own minds a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but definitely if you want to go to the Mosconi, I would recommend buying the full package, you know what I'm saying? But you can also go like 1 or 2 days. I just feel like to get the full experience and really feel the energy, you know what I'm saying? It is nice to have the full days, but...
There's just no question for me. I couldn't do 1 day.
Oh, I would have to do all 4 days. Yeah.
I had to do the whole thing. And yes, when you buy the full package, you could potentially be paying for a day that's not going to happen, but it's a relatively inexpensive event to go to as far as the ticket prices. The tickets for Mosconi Cup sold out within an hour of opening.
Yeah.
But it's strange because then there were single tickets available here and there for single days. You'd change seats every day. You would pay more because buying the package of 4 tickets as a pass, you ended up with some sort of discount. I don't remember what it was, but it was impossible to buy those tickets an hour after they were open. I mean, even less than that, honestly.
Most surprising thing?
That's
Is that different?
Most surprising thing?
Probably just the volume. I wasn't expecting to be as much heckling and sharking as I thought, because usually it's not even, you know, allowed. But here it's like you go to a whole new extreme. Shane lost his voice in 3 hours.
Yeah. Our friend Jake lost his voice and it took him 3
Everyone's
days to
losing
get
their
it
voice.
back. My throat was very sore. I think it was surprising because having watched it on TV, I didn't realize it was as rowdy as it was. I mean, you know it's wild and crazy, but then you get there and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is insane.
It's an awesome experience.
Yeah. It was a level of energy I wasn't expecting, and I thought I was going to go there to just watch intense gameplay, and I ended up just being there to absorb the environment itself, and I'm going to just have to go back and actually just watch and analyze the gameplay later, because it's just too much there. It's just too much.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for joining us for the Mosconi Cup conversation. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments, and we'll answer them for you. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.